The first major protest against Argentina President Javier Milei's government. Leftist groups marched to the centre of Buenos Aires on Wednesday afternoon against austerity measures introduced by Milei.
He said there would be cuts to the political class that had got rich at the country's expense, and not against the people. But the first measures were brutal against the people, and he has called on the political class, the traditional ruling class, to be part of his government.
People here are already feeling the impact of last week's 54% devaluation. Analysts expect the inflation rate for December to surge to more than 30%.
This march was a response not only to the government's austerity measures, but also the government plans to clamp down on social protests.
There was tension ahead of the nationwide protests, with vast police presence on the streets. Last week, Security Minister Patricia Bullrich announced anti-protest protocols. These include using federal forces to intervene in any type of protests that block roads. The government also confirmed it will cut social welfare for anyone taking part in this type of demonstration. Rights groups say these protocols criminalise legitimate protest.
In Argentina, we have a strong tradition of using public space to express our demands, our claims, and also to defend rights. And in recent years, that public space has been used by different sectors of the community, from students to businessmen, to people who were against lockdown in the context of the pandemic. They used the streets to express their demands.
Wednesday's demonstration faded out barely hours before Milei's televised presidential decree. It orders wholesale deregulation across the economy and the privatisation of state-run companies, Milei delivering on the radical reform he promised during the election campaign.
The aim is to start the path of reconstruction of our country, to return freedom and autonomy to individuals, and begin to dismantle the enormous number of regulations that have blocked, hindered and stalled economic growth in our country.
The reaction from Argentines was immediate. Less than 2 weeks into his presidency, Milei already faces opposition on the streets and uncertainty and doubts over how his government will implement such drastic economic reforms. Joel Richards, CGTN, Buenos Aires.